You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. This is Inside with Outsiders. My name is Jeremy Asgari, and today we have a good friend, Gladimir Gelin, with us. He's a director and photographer. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I realized we met like in the fall, only a few months ago.
I know.
And we got to thank Kathy from New Belgian Brewery for connecting us.
Shout out to Kathy.
Shout out to Kathy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. We met on a Puerto Rico trip.
That was an amazing trip, man.
Oh,
I still think about that trip.
I so do I. We had we were lucky enough to have Manolo Lopez interviewed on the podcast, who was the one that showed us real Puerto Rico.
Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that. That was like a amazing trip on its own, like for real.
Oh man, I mean,
I could do it again.
I could do the food again
anytime.
Yeah, it was amazing. And you came through with your buddy Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah. Nick Cregan,
that's
actor,
right. Exactly,
producer. Yeah.
But we're trying to. I know. He's used to being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And you're always used to being behind the camera because you're a director, photographer.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I know Chris is also always behind the camera. So being in front of the camera is a sense of unease. You're out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I thank you for taking up that challenge.
No, for sure. I mean, for you, Jeremy, I will pull up in front of the
appreciate
camera.
it for me, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
but take
that.
it easy. But I heard it's all about me today. So
it is all about you. A little different for you. Glad, man. I don't know a whole lot about you. I know we had a good time hanging out in Puerto Rico. Vibes are always right. But I'm here to learn about you. So is the audience. So where are you from?
So I'm born and bred in New York City. I'm from Queens Village. Shout out to Queens.
Which is fitting for your Instagram handle.
Yeah, New York made.
That's right. And so you're born and raised there?
Yep.
And your parents are from where?
Haiti. So I'm a Haitian American, just saying first generation.
Both parents?
Yeah, both parents.
How's your Creole?
It depends.
Yeah.
All right. So it depends because like a lot of times when like if I don't speak to my parents a lot for a long time, and they usually speak to me in English. So if I'm like immersed in it, then it gets better. But if I don't speak it in a while,
you can. But you can obviously understand as well.
I can understand it. But when I try to speak it, it's not as great.
So I remember when you were in Puerto Rico with us, we had our photographer there, Jean.
Oh yeah.
And Jean's Haitian, and his Creole was on point.
Nah, he was embarrassing me.
I heard you guys talking a little bit, you know?
Yeah, a little bit, but my shit sounds terrible. Like,
I mean, it takes practice.
But it takes practice. Like if I was in Haiti for like a month or I was around like people who speak in Creole constantly, then it'll get better.
I mean, I have a friend of mine, Caroline, who's from France, speaks English with a French accent, but she's been here forever. And even now, she's forgetting her French. She still speaks English with a French accent, but she's forgetting her French because it's normal, right? You don't speak it enough.
Language is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you know, weekends, you know. So.
Exactly. I speak French on the weekends.
Yeah. Do you keep up with your French?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to travel there as much as I can. I have French friends here in New York that I keep in touch with as well in Paris. And then, recently we just came back from a trip from Zion, and my cousin Jerome came with his wife, and Jean also speaks some good amount of French. So whenever it was, the four of us together, it was just French the whole time. So a week of that, you come back feeling a little sharper with the French.
A little sharper, a little wine.
Exactly.
A little cigarette.
No, we don't promote that here.
Okay.
So what was it like growing up in Queens? And what we talking about 90s?
90s. 2000s, early 2000s. So I always lived in Queens. I still live in Queens now. I live in Astoria now, but I grew up in Queens. And I was born in 89 for reference. It was great. I mean, I grew up in a two Haitian household family. I went to Catholic school from pre-K to 8th grade. Then I went to Jamaica High School because I was like, I'm tired of wearing Catholic school uniform. I was like, I want to wear play clothes. Yeah. And then I got the harsh reality of going to public school because at that time, 50 just dropped his first album. I was going to like Jamaica. So Southside Jamaica's right there. So it was a huge difference from growing up in Queens Village to going to Catholic school up to Jamaica High School. But by the time I graduated, it was all right. So when I got there, it was like really gang related. But by the time I graduated the fourth year, it was like everybody was getting light. It was like that whole dance movement. So it was like people wearing like ashy jeans. This is where like people was in their retro phase and like during my time. So It was like from 2004 to 2008.
So it went from Gangster with a 50
Yeah.
album to...
Everybody was listening to Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah, okay.
And Kanye was big at the time.
Yeah,
so everybody had the backpack, the polos. But 2003, 2004, it was very still like that. I mean, you still had both, but it was a little bit
I mean, it's a testament as to how music changes cultures and behaviors, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for the youth.
Yeah.
So when you were in school and you got into the dance part of it, did you partake in that outfit?
Nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Actually, my freshman year, just to like kind of like stay like grounded and stuff, I joined the football team. So I played football all 4 years. So right after school, I went to like football practice, and then.
And your parents were cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good for me because like it taught me like teamwork and.
So I mean, my mom would have never let
work.
me play American football.
Really?
I played soccer and basketball.
You know what's crazy? I think I wouldn't let my kids play football today, just knowing like.
I mean,
how things are.
The head injuries.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw that movie Concussion, and it's crazy like how much they put under the.
Yeah. How are you feeling? How's your mental health?
It's good, man. I mean, obviously I didn't go like pro or anything, but like I mean.
Actually, did you do well in high school football?
I did. I honestly was gonna go to Hofstra. So my last senior year, I was gonna try to do a walk on because I was training there like my senior year, and that year they lost their football program. Like when I was graduating.
There's no football program at Hofstra?
No, they got rid of it in 2008.
Damn,
yeah,
I didn't know
2007, around there. So the year that I was graduating, they lost their football program. So I was like, all right, fuck it. What am I going to do? So I went to LIU in Brooklyn. Stayed there for a year, but it was like no campus life. And I kind of wanted a little bit of the campus life because it's like I wanted this college lifestyle. So I ended up transferring to St. John the next year.
How was the campus life there?
Oh, way better. It feels like more of a campus because they have dorms.
Yeah.
Like they had dorms at LIU, but it was just like, I don't know. It was mostly commuters where like I feel like.
Same for me.
Yeah.
I went to Hunter.
Oh, word.
So I went to Hunter College, and I remember my first year I wanted that campus life, and I went to school to Ohio.
Word.
And not what I wanted.
Wait, what school in Ohio?
Ohio Wesleyan.
Okay.
So I didn't like that kind of campus life. I wasn't used to that culture. Honestly, I wasn't expecting what I.
Wait, so you went to Hunter for how long?
I went there after I left Ohio Wesleyan. I went 1 year community college, and I went to Hunter for 3 years. Graduated from Hunter. Okay. So I was there from 2000 to 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Then what did you study?
Communications.
Studies. Me too. Yeah. I feel like everybody studies communication. Just trying to figure it out.
I guess. I mean, listen, if I were to look back, would I study communications again? Probably not.
Really?
I probably would have gone for maybe entrepreneurship.
Right. Or pre-med.
I was biology at first. I wanted to be a physical therapist.
There's a good I know Hunter is known for their nursing program.
Nursing is amazing there. Nursing program, and what else is good there? The physical therapy program is good there as well. And that's
I know a lot of people that went to Hunter. That's one of the top CUNY schools.
Yeah, and that Baruch good for business, John Jay for
huge business school over there
for law. But yeah, so you went to
St. John's.
St. John's. You graduated from St. John's?
Nah, I dropped out.
You dropped out?
Yeah.
What made you drop out? Oh, you're a son of Haitian parents. They must have been pissed.
It wasn't like a lawyer, a doctor.
Yeah, well,
I turned out all right? But
I feel like there's a lot of similarities with immigrant parents in general, right? So I saw this meme on Instagram. It was like a Persian account, right? So they make fun of Persian cultural things, and one of them was, as a Persian person, you have a couple choices. You could be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a disgrace to your family.
That's the same thing. I feel like
very similar. It was
very
reminding me of it. So what happened why did you drop out, and what was your family's reaction like?
So, I mean, obviously, all right, so let me backtrack a little bit. So when I went to St. John's, I didn't know what I wanted to do. My dad was like, yo, you got to figure some shit out because St. John's is expensive. And he's paying half of it out of pocket, and I'm getting some from financial aid. So I figured all right, cool. I'm going to come here with a mission. I wanted to be part of the campus life. And I figured I'm going to find out what I want to do. So eventually I knew that I wanted to, my freshman year, I got introduced to this fraternity that I wanted to get into. Yeah. And they were
like, shout that out or not?
Nah, I'm not going to, but, cause I didn't going through with it. So, they were like, yo, you have to immerse yourself in into organization. So I joined, student life, I was on the Haraya e-board. I mean, I was trying to get on like different e-boards, so I had
What's
to
an
like
e-board?
So basically, it's like, let's just say there was one e-board called Haraya, right? It's the Pan-African Coalition. It's like the Black coalition. So essentially, each organization on campus have like a top, like, who leads the student body. So it's like you have a marketing guy, you have somebody who's doing who's the president. So those are e-board positions. So I was part of that. I was trying to get on one of those.
E stands for executive?
Yeah, executive.
Okay.
The executive board. So there was like, yo, you have to be, immersed into like student organizations. So whether that be the President's Society, or if that's, I don't know, I was a student ambassador. I was trying to get on so many organizations so I could beef up my resume so I look good for this organization.
This was your father recommended?
No.
Advisor?
I'm gonna get to it. So essentially, I was like, all right, let me figure out how I'm gonna get on these organizations. So there was one in particular organization that they needed somebody to do photos for. So I essentially was like, you know what? No, it was not photos. It was videos. So essentially, I was like, yo, I knew I did this video in high school. It was like this. A spoof on I Am Legend, but it's called I Am Beaver because our school is, Okay. I'll get into that story later. But anyway, so I knew I did that video, and I knew this was going to be a good way for me to get a part of the organization. So they were doing this alumni dinner, and I volunteered to do the video for the alumni dinner.
Had you done videos before?
I did that one video in high school. So I was like, all right, I could do this. So I had the confidence from that because my teacher at the time was like, yo, this is really good. You should look into it. But, 2 years passed by, and I'm in St. John's now. I'm like, all right, trying to figure out what I want to do. Yeah. So then I eventually did the video, and then it caught the attention of the administrators like, yo, this is really good. We would love to, kind of bring you in. At the time, this is the beginning of social media. So wow. They're starting up Facebook. They need Instagram content. So I started working at the student life social media team on campus. So essentially I was like, yo, working there, and then I started like really feeling the love for like photography and video. So eventually I end up like, which I'll go into deeper later, but I eventually started my own production company and just dropped out.
So you started in college.
Yeah, in college.
It's kind of like a little Bill Gates action.
Yeah.
You dropped out of college, see some potential in his own company. Okay.
Yeah. So at the time, I was like interning. I was working at the student organization, like the student team, and then eventually I started interning at this production company called By Any Means, because at the time, this director that I really like, his name is Aristotle Torres. He had he was working with J. Cole at the time. J. Cole went to my school, by the way, but
St. John's,
yeah, he's much older than me. And then he was working with Nas, which I'm a huge Nas fan. So I started working with them, and I started learning the ropes. And then I started like working with not organizations, but like magazines like Double XL, Complex Magazine. And I was like, starting to like work my way up to like doing bigger projects. So then
you were videos for these companies.
Yeah, I was doing videos. So at the time, I was like, all right, I'm still working at the school, but then my other career was starting to pick up, and then I ended up like just dropping out like my junior year. So.
And your major was communications on the production side, right?
I was a communication major, but with a minor in film. Yeah.
Okay, so you're all in production already. That's what you had in mind. I did analytical. I did journalism and PR.
Okay.
So you saw. I mean, is there any benefit? Obviously, there's benefit, but have you ever come into a situation with work where, because you don't have a college degree, they said no?
Oh, you know what's funny?
What?
So, all right. So when I dropped out,
do me a favor, get closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry. When I dropped out, I was still like low key working at the school when I wasn't like still enrolled.
Really?
So then at the time I was working on a video. I forgot, it was for some project, and I was on the subway, right? And I guess this woman who was sitting next to me was watching me what I was doing, and she was like, "Hey, I see that you work in video. Our company is looking for somebody to become a video editor. We would love to talk about a possibility." This is me like junior year. like have no jobs lined up.
Right.
Like my parents are like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I took her information. She worked at Elmer's Hospital. So she was looking for somebody to like do video and photography at the hospital. So at the time, she was like, yeah, you just need your bachelor's degree and then, you know, you'll be all good and set. We'll have an interview. So I created like a fake transcript where I graduated and they never checked, and then I ended up getting the job. So I was doing photos and videos for this for Elmer's Hospital for about 3 or 4 years.
And it never came up?
It never came up.
I mean, honestly, why would it, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like you
but
had
the fact
to,
that you forged something, that's a little suspect.
Yeah, I mean, like I was trying to get this job. It was like, I think at the time it was paying me like $42,000 a year. A college,
right? No, it's huge. For
it's huge.
College,
So I was like, damn, they're about to see this. Like,
I mean, listen, how many of the people actually kind of, you know, talk a little crap on their resume? Like they add stuff that's really there.
Everybody has to boost up their. I mean, I was like probably like 30 credits away from graduating. Like basically,
but also like you already knew your craft.
Yeah,
right?
I was already in my craft.
Yeah.
Like for like photography, I'm self-taught. So a lot of the stuff I learned was like through just you know the work and process of everything else.
We were talking last Sunday or Saturday. We had a Earth Day hike and we were talking about resumes. And this girl says that she put some wild stuff on her resume and it gets
like
attention.
What?
Like she's on the bottom of her resume, she put random facts about herself, like orange juice over coffee. And she puts like these random funny things in there, and it turns out like
it works for probably somebody.
It works because it catches people's attention and it has something to like. Oh, this girl has personality. You know, you wouldn't think to put that. Sometimes you really want to be really like structured and not raise any red flags potentially, or you worry about what someone might think. But you know, being willing to be an individual and unique is probably worth more, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's like you want to stand out, so I guess this is like her way of standing out.
Or you could just forge your resume.
Yeah.
No, but listen, if you're going to be working for a creative company, like if you're going to be a photographer, like adding that stuff, like, all right, this person is creative because they got me to read their resume by putting like they choose orange juice.
That girl did sales. It was the girl that was walking ahead of me with me the whole time. Stop talking.
That
was her.
Okay,
that's funny. But I mean, hey, it works in sales. You got to have a personality too.
Yeah,
or you can't.
I don't remember where it's some tech sales thing. So, but again, I think
it worked out. She got a job.
Listen, as long as it's nothing that's going to make people think you're crazy,
right?
And just something that show a little personality that you have, and in sales you need that. Why not?
Right. It's like You ever saw the movie Step Brothers?
Of course. Yes.
It's like I'm about to work in the family business, like, and his father's a doctor. Like, it's just like, what the fuck?
A great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
So you, so you got this job out of college. You never finished.
Never finished.
I mean, wait. Let me ask you this real quick because we talked about immigrant parents like being on top of you about like graduating.
Yeah.
How did you break the news to your family that you quit?
Well, all right. So at the time, he was like, yo, I mean, like he was like, I'm like 19, 20. I'm trying to figure shit out. So he gave me like a little bit of like, you know, figure it out soon, kind of pep talk. Like, and then when I got the job, he felt way more comfortable. Like, okay, at least he got a job.
Is this prior to you dropping out or after you dropped out?
I mean, I didn't tell him until I dropped out. Like, I mean, until I got the job. So they kind of like, so I dropped out the end of my, the fall semester. And then like, I got that job maybe that summer. So like, I was going into my senior, so spring, he didn't know that I was out of school. And then, during that summer, I got that position. So I was like, yo, I dropped out, but hey, I'm doing this.
That's a dangerous move. That's risky. The Haitian pops.
It worked out, though.
Yeah, it did.
But, but for a long time, he was like, you know what, glad figure shit out. And then at least I got a job out of it.
I mean, similarities.
He felt comfortable that at least I had something to like live on. And plus I wasn't living at the house since I was like about 2 years now. So
where were you living before?
So I was, me and my boys, we had an apartment off of Hillside. So it was right next to Henley, which is one of the.
So you were making enough money to pay rent through these videos.
So I was able to pay rent through like the school program, but then they found out. They was like, but at that time, I only had to like really hustle for like, I mean, obviously I'm still hustling, but it's like, I really had to like figure shit out in those like 7-8 months between I got that position at
So once you got that position at Elmhurst Hospital, right?
Yo, it was the best thing ever because that, shout out to Demetria, that's her name. So she was like, yo, I know you're doing all this on the other side. So they were so super flexible. So I would like come to do a 9 to 5, do photography. They gave me like a little office. I was feeling like a boss. Yeah. But then at the time, I told her like, yo, I do other things. She was like open to it. Like she would let me leave. She would like, if I had to take an extra day off, she would help me out. Like she was like super supportive. Like, dang. Yeah, shout out to her. I probably wouldn't, be able to do what I did at the time if it wasn't for her. So
okay. So what was the next step from there? I mean,
so eventually I started building clientele. Like, so I was able to support myself, but at the same time, like the other 5 to 9 or what, if I had a project, I would eventually like, work that until I started building, Instagram was coming out of age. So like you was able to like market yourself. People would get to know me a little bit more. Like other brands were reaching out. So eventually I was able to like, take a step back. So I had a conversation with my dad about this before I left. I was like, you know what, I'm doing pretty good outside of this Elmhurst job. Like I think I'm going to take this leap. And after I took that leap, it was just like straight.
Really? What industry were you getting job? I mean, usually when people start getting clientele, it's within a specific industry. What was your work coming from?
I was working. All right. So one of my first bigger clients were like Ashanti at the time.
Really?
Yeah. I did a project with her. And
the ink?
Yeah. Murder Ink. Yeah.
The ink.
Shout out to Ashanti. Yeah. She gave me like one of my first I was working with her consistently at the time.
How'd you land that?
Through her, I think through her sister Shia. So she was dating this guy that was from my neighborhood, and then somehow I ended up doing photos because she started a clothing line, so I started doing photos for her, and then she connected me with her sister for some photos, and then I did a video for her, and then she loved it, and then we worked on a couple of projects ever since then. And then I did this project with Calvin Klein because this is a time where influencers was just coming out, so a lot of brands were giving a lot of stuff to up and coming influencers.
And were you considered influencer then?
No, I was working with influencers.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially they would see my work. They were like, "Yo, I got this project," and then I think one of the big ones was when I was like, "Oh shit, like this is like looking ill." It was this group called the No Names. They were like his name. I forgot the other guy's name, but it was called the No Names, and essentially, they did a project with Calvin Klein, and Calvin Klein reposted it on their Instagram.
Really,
it was kind of huge because it was just like at the time before to do projects like that, you had to like kind of intern, you had to work as an assistant.
Right.
For you to like get to that level so quickly in the social media age, that's what shows the difference. Because like back then you would have to work under somebody, but now like you could work kind of directly with the brand now if they like something that you do. So obviously it's a process still, but you skip a lot of steps.
What was your personal life back then? I mean, you were working, grinding. What were you doing for fun at the time?
Photos. I was literally like every place I went, I would go to events.
Like early 20s, events. Right?
Huh?
Early 20s?
Early 20s, like 23, 24. I was just going into events, like whatever. At the time, they were doing a lot of like, what do you call it? Labels would throw different parties. I'll try to sneak into those. I wasn't on any of those lists, so I would meet people there, and then eventually that was like kind of like my thing. If I'm not at work, I was out there networking.
So did you ever partake in one of Nick's scams, the email scam?
Oh, no.
We gotta tell this story. All right, so this is maybe one of your best friends, Nick.
Yeah.
And Nick, he told us a story. I don't mean to cut off your story, but this just reminded me you out there networking. So Nick's also a networker.
Yeah,
he's an
exactly.
actor. Obviously, he's got to hustle to get his gigs, and going to certain events is important.
Right.
So what was the story? He went to the public hotel and tried to get in, and they said no.
Oh yeah. So I wasn't with him on that time, but I was with him a couple of other times where he posed as like Ian Shager.
Yeah.
Friends with Ian Shager. Yeah. So basically, he wrote himself an email. At the time, I think it was like Rihanna's party. Like nobody was getting it at the time, and then he was like, "Yo," he was trying to figure things out, but he remember watching that Studio 54 documentary, and he realized that Ian Shager owns Public Hotel.
Yeah.
So then I guess he wrote an email from.
Now I remember this story. So he created an email account. That looked like it was Ian Schrager's email account, and made his false signature and everything. Emailed himself as if like Ian had invited him and like as a close friend, and he found out the name of the doorman too. So he put the doorman's name in there, and then he showed the doorman after the doorman was giving him a hard time. shows him the email, and he's like, "See, look, this is the email that Ian Schrager showed me." So then the doorman is like apologetic,
right?
lets him
Open
and his
that
friends
shit like
in.
Moses.
So he used this
door.
tactic whenever he had a hard time getting into anywhere where there might have been like an Ian Schrager connect or some other connect. I was like, yo, that's genius.
Club 11 in the middle of like Art Basel, like door shut, can't get in. Worked with like 10 dudes to get into like Club 11, and then a Gucci party that we went to over the summer worked into. It was insane. Like,
the same Ian?
It was Ian Schrager email.
Really? Oh
yeah, wow.
That's hilarious.
I mean, you gotta hustle. You gotta hustle in New York
we used
City.
to do the same thing. I remember, like, I remember this one time I was in Miami, and this is when Nikki Beach was great, but above it was this place called Pearl. Like, the VIP of Nikki Beach was this club called Pearl. Yeah. And I don't know why I even cared so much, but I had to get upstairs, and I was there with, like, four girlfriends of mine that were beautiful girls.
Right.
They weren't models.
Especially when you got the girls that you got.
Right. I was trying to get upstairs, and I lied. I was like, "Yeah, we were these models," and I said one of them was some famous person from. I can't remember what I said. Ridiculous. And looking back at it, I'm like, what an idiot I was. But it was it worked. They got us in eventually. Boom. And my friends to this day, those girls I'm still friends with, like, why were you so hell bent on getting upstairs? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, when people tell you can't do something or you feel like there's
yes, in certain regard to certain things, but now if somebody said I can't get into a club, I'm like, cool. You do me a favor. I want to go home and go to sleep.
I'm good. 10 o'clock. I'm chilling in bed watching.
So you're doing. I totally understand that New York City hustle of like being out in events, networking, just getting your name out there, especially as an entrepreneur, and especially in your field in a time where social media is coming out, where you can really be innovative as far as using those resources to get gigs and further your career. Yeah. So
I mean, honestly, it was a huge like tool that I used because Instagram is definitely a tool if you use it the right way. It can help you propel you in either directions. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like if it wasn't for that, it would take me longer to get to where I was. Obviously.
Of course, I mean, it's definitely helped a lot of businesses and maybe hurt some, but and
especially what you do. I mean,
tremendously. I mean, we put a lot of focus on social media because that's where people get their information from these days.
Right.
Everyone kind of, for the most part, interacts the same way with, let's say, Instagram. Yeah. I was talking about this the other day. I have a love-hate relationship for it. I love it because I can keep contact with friends of mine. Yeah. I love it because it's a great tool for my business. Yeah. But I'll open it up sometime in school. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time. I close it. And literally a minute later, open it up, like not realizing why I opened it up. I'm like, nah, this is bad. Like, I need to stop doing it. So
it's a slight addiction. People don't talk about it.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like it's more known now, but yeah.
Exactly.
It's like a balance though. Yeah. Even for me, when I first got into Instagram, I saw it as a tool. Like even like me, it's mostly when you go to my Instagram, it's mostly my work. I don't really
which is funny because when I told you to come on the podcast, I sent a little document with what's kind of like preparing where to go, what to bring, and all this stuff. And one of the things was we asked the people who are partaking to accept the collaborator invite on this, so that it shows up on your profile. And I know you told me you're curating this as like this is your art, right? It's kind of an art form for you. Yeah. And then obviously I said, listen, put it up there for a few days and take it down if you need to. But it makes sense. I mean, even me, when I first got Instagram, I used to post whatever anything, and now it's like curated. It's mine because it's your identity essentially. Yeah. In a way, I mean, not in real life, but like online. Yeah,
it's a digital version of yourself, and a lot of brands look towards it, especially if you're like working with a lot. Like, hey, we're at the North Face.
Exactly. I can't be putting up some like. I mean, I was never reckless, but still.
But you want to keep it to a certain.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, we're at this point in your life in this discussion. Mm-hmm. Where you're starting to pick up new clients, right? You're out there hustling, right? Was there a major break in your career, an event that took place that got you to the next level, or someone you ran into? Like, what got you to feeling like you had the momentum you needed to keep going?
Okay, so it was like right before the pandemic happened. I got this call. Well, I got this DM from this girl. And at the time, I was doing a lot of like fashion projects, but nothing like huge to the point where I felt like, all right, this could be life changing. So I got a call from I got a DM, and she was like, yo, are you happen to be in Miami for Art Basel because Dior is doing this show out there, and we're looking to work with new creatives, So like, Dior, LVMH, this is like huge. I never worked with a large brand like this. So essentially, I went down to the show. I met the girl. And then when I got back to New York, we had a separate meeting. And then maybe a couple weeks later, she was like, hey, we have this project that we're launching. And we're working with, like, same thing like I was doing before with, like, working with influencers directly. Yeah. And then, you know, the brand would, like, sponsor whatever project that they're doing. So I was like, all right, cool. So I end up doing the project. Like, I guess they loved the project because they reached out to me again. It was like, yo, we really love this. This is amazing. And then, like, the world shuts down for 3 weeks. I mean, for like a year or whatever. I don't know how long it was. And then maybe like a year and a half later, they reached out. They was like, yo, we love this project so much. We're turning it into a global campaign. We want you to direct the New York, I mean, all the talent in the U.S., which was at the time was Ryan Garcia, which shout out to him. He just won his fight. Yeah. And another one was Tanner Reese. Tanner Reese was the first, was another guy that I met in the original project. I did the original video with. Yeah. So it's about boxing. It's called like Dior Home Sports. So they're launching this new cologne. So I did one in New York and I did one in San Diego where Ryan's from. And then that kind of led me to bigger commercial projects. So I ended up working with like different, from Oxo to American Express to so the budgets got a lot bigger. So I was able to like work with bigger agencies. So that kind of like changed the course.
And did you start like, is it just like Glad Gelin Productions or is you have a team now?
So when I left the hospital, I started, well, technically I started it in 2012 when I dropped out. 2011 when I dropped out, and then I didn't LLC till like maybe 2 years after, to like 2014, and then I just been going as New York Made ever since. So it's like New York Made, and then I have a lot of contractors that I work with, and I have a couple producers on staff.
What's the LLC name?
New York Made Films LLC.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
that's why I'm New York Made on
name.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't gotten like anyone, because I know there's like a union, a New York Film Union or something?
Yeah, made in New York. Made in New York.
Oh, but you're New York Made.
Yeah, I'm New York Made. So
wow.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah, I should have like...
I commend you.
Yeah, but thank you. Yeah. That's cool.
So you're on this role with big clients and so on. Is this still the wave you're riding, or you have other stuff that's been?
So right now I'm trying to do more long formatted stuff. So like I'm going into like doing more documentary, long scripted projects as well. I did a lot of short documentaries, but right now I'm working on a documentary right now with this chef named Kwame Onwachi. He actually has one of the #1 restaurants in New York City right now.
Really?
And he's launching a new, he's doing a new restaurant in DC that's launching this summer.
What's the theme?
It's called it's a Creole African Caribbean mix with Nigerian touch in it as well. I mean, it's like a mixture. It's all a whole bunch of influences from culture.
Caribbean food in general is all West African influence anyway.
Caribbean, Jamaican, Creole, Nigerian,
Cuban, Puerto Rican. They're all like rice stews, plantains. Like
goosey. Like it's really good.
It's delicious, man.
Yeah. So right now I'm working on like doing bigger longer format stuff. So like obviously I'm still doing the commercial work. I'm still doing photos. So now I'm trying to go into something in that space, or even in the scripted space eventually. So me and Nick are cooking up some stuff as well. So
nice.
I'm excited what the future holds.
So it's still pretty new. Like this success is what, 4 years.
Yeah. So like, all right, from the commercial, from like the run and gun, it's probably like 6-7 years, and then the commercial stuff is in the last 5 years.
And what's your ultimate goal? Like, do you want to become a filmmaker?
Yeah, I want to create films. I want to create films that challenge the mind, challenge the human construct. That's the long goal. I want to go into like my like sci-fi, I want to go and create films like that, like Interstellar, Inception, So, one things that kind of like, challenge the mind a little bit. So that's the long goal.
Are you writing scripts and so on?
So I'm working with my cousin. She writes scripts. She sent me a couple of short ones that we're kind of navigating through. So,
I just reminded me, our friend Jean, our Haitian brother.
Oh, yeah.
Just finished his first script.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's it about?
You'll have to ask him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give him a shot. But he's just finished his first script. Super proud. I was there the moment he finished it. He finished it on the Zion trip. I think he finished it while we were in Death Valley. But the moment he finished it, he was like glowing. That dude, I'm proud of him, man.
That's the energy, when you got something special, especially as near and dear to you. That's like.
And he started working on it 15 years ago, then like stopped working on it, and then recently picked it back up and like. But started flowing.
That's how films work, though. Like,
yeah.
Like I know, even I was watching something about Uncut Gems, and originally it was supposed to be shot in like 2013. Like, you know, it came out in 2020. It takes time sometimes, you know, funding, or sometimes you have somebody attached to it and then they drop out. Like,
I mean, talk about funding. I was talking to Chris the other day about the reason budget's so expensive. They're talking about the guy who tapes down these wires is getting like $125 an hour.
The union jobs. Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, I'm saying you got to factor that in when you think about a movie budget, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, maybe I should go tape down wires.
It's good money. It's good money, especially when you're in the union.
Yeah.
Solid.
Man, so that's pretty straightforward. Like, you've got a nice, you know, people envision an entrepreneur's rise as a direct shot up, and it's really not. However, yours kind of seems that way.
No, I think it came in like pieces. Like I would get to a level, stay there for a bit, and then, you know, something would happen and it'll elevate me. But there's moments where like things weren't like the best. I mean, obviously, you know, you have your trials and tribulations with any business, right? Like,
what were the ones you faced?
I think it's just like sometimes you get pigeonholed into like doing one certain project until like you have to create it for yourself. I feel like for a long time, I'm like even still to this day, like, you know, I want to break out into different, like I said, I want to do like more documentary stuff. Or so I did a couple of stuff with Tidal. I did one with Laquan Smith. I did one with Little Dirk. They were short-winded. They were like about 5 to 10 minutes. But like to get the money and funding and have these, you know, sometimes you just got to do it yourself. And sometimes that takes a lot, especially when, you know, living in New York City is super expensive. You just have to go for it at times. But, you know, it comes a time where you have to like just create the space for yourself and then go from there.
I agree. Same with us. When I'll work with, as outsider, we'll work with a brand and you get a nice budget, and then you know, we'll use that to get our creative stuff out there. And, take a bigger risk with trips and so on. So I feel like you got to do the same thing. Right?
You gotta do it yourself sometimes.
Exactly.
You gotta put that battery in your back.
I mean, who else is gonna do it for you? You know,
nobody.
Exactly. So, you know, we're gonna get some questions. What do you do for fun now?
I like to run. So ever since the pandemic, like,
really, oh, that's why you asked. Okay, so you asked me about running, and I was like a little confused. I'm like,
because I saw you running in Puerto Rico. I was like,
running
this
in Puerto
dude's
Rico
on
because
it.
I was trying. Honestly, I'm trying to get to running a little bit more. Although I'm not a runner per se. Like, I'm a runner as far as the basketball court, like sprints or interval training type of situation. But and I can do a mile. I'll do maxes like 3 miles, like 5K. But it beats up my body a little too much.
No, it does. It does. You gotta like do some cycling, something that's low impact.
I love cycling. I can do that. But running, I want to be able to incorporate a little more. So the reason, so I was with Darshan, our director of partnerships, and I like running with him because he's an experienced runner and he'll pace me. Like, I know myself, I'll try to get my best time and push myself, and sometimes that leads to...
You got to do threshold runs. You got to do tempo runs.
So
track work.
All the stuff I don't know about, right? He knows. So he's kind of leading me. So that's why I was running in Puerto Rico to get a workout.
Okay.
So I didn't realize you were a runner. I would have had you join us.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I had just finished the Berlin Marathon, maybe 3 weeks before.
Oh, you run marathons?
Oh, I do marathons. So,
really?
All right. So in 2020, when the world shut down, right, I was like, yo, what am I doing? Like, I need something to do. I'm a person that needs to like challenge myself. So
as most entrepreneurs are.
Right. We have that mindset. So I was like, you know what? The streets are empty. Like, I'm gonna like start running. So I started with like 1 mile, then like 2 miles, and I did my first 5K. I'm talking to my dad like, yo, I'm doing a 5K, and I started doing run challenges on the Nike app. So I was like, am I supposed to?
It was fine.
Yeah. So then I was using this running app, and I was getting friends to like, you know, run with me. So I'll do like 3 miles. Then we started doing like, all right, let's do 50K this month, 50K this month, 100K the next month. So then eventually I started like, doing it all the time. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to run a marathon this year. This is like started in March. By the time November came out, I ran my first marathon.
And which one was the first one?
The New York City Marathon, but it was virtual. It was virtual the first year.
Yeah.
So you had to use the Strava app, and then you would just run it like on your own.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, it's much harder to run it that way because you have to pack everything. Whereas like in the New York City Marathon,
you get handed water. Yeah, exactly.
There's stations. So I didn't realize it. Then the second year, the following year, I actually ran it with everybody and with New York City. What was
your time?
Like bro, I don't even know. I was stopping all the time, so it was like 5:15.
Right.
I was just there for like, everybody was like, it's pandemonium.
It's a party.
It's like if you ever ran the New York, if you need to run a marathon, run the New York City Marathon. Yeah. It's like literally one of the best marathons you can run, especially the first time, because the energy will just carry you through.
It's funny. I'd never been to the New York City Marathon. It's in person until a couple of years ago, and I went with Darshan, and I was like, wow, it makes you question, like, I kind of want to run a marathon.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in it, you're like,
Yeah.
But like when you finish, you're feeling that energy, like, all right, I did it. And then I did it again. I did it the following year, and then the year after I just did Berlin, and then that's where I met you at.
So you did 3 New York City marathons?
I did 3 New York City.
2 official?
Two official ones, one virtual,
one,
and then I just did Berlin. So right now I'm training.
Why did you choose Berlin?
It was the first. It was the one that I got in because with there's 6 major marathon. There's Berlin, there's Tokyo, there's London, there's New York,
Boston.
there's Boston. Yeah. I feel like I'm missing one. But anyway, right? So they're hard to get there. You have to get like invited, or you have to like get sponsored. So essentially, I was able to get a sponsorship through Adidas, with one of my friends who Chris. Shout out to Chris. He got me a bid, so I was able to get in. So I ran that, and then like a week before, I was deadlifting and I fucked up my back.
So why would you be deadlifting?
Yeah, I don't know. See, this is the things I'm learning. Things I'm learning now. So that's why I'm starting training now. So that I'm starting training now. So then I'm in the second half. I'm breaking it down to 2 phases. Phase 1 is just like endurance training and obviously strength training. And the second half is going to be more like tempo runs, track work, just getting my like timing right.
What's the next one you want to run?
Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago. I might do Berlin again if I could get a bid. So if anybody at Adidas want to give me a bid.
Let me know if about the Chicago one. We have outside of Chicago. So I'd love to support somehow.
Yo, that would be amazing if I could get one in Chicago, because that one's in October, so I would love to do that one. Yeah.
Maybe I'm down to crew. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it offline about it. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So you running is kind of
my new passion.
New passion.
I'm trying to tackle all 6 world majors.
Are you part of any run clubs in New York?
I run with I know a lot of homies who run on different clubs, so I'll join a couple clubs. But yeah, I'm not on one particular one. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your personal goals and dreams outside of business?
Doing all these 6 major.
Really?
Yeah, I want to hit all the 6 world major marathons. Maybe do an ultra. Maybe do a couple ultras. I don't know. I'm just like crazy like that. Once I find something, I want to get to the next level. It's like
that's amazing.
For everything, like you started photography, then you want to shoot celebrities, then you want to do big campaigns. So like right now, I'm like just like I guess I'm like trying to get my feet wet and like learning this whole new industry, because it's just like a whole new world to me now.
That's cool, man. Well, let us know how we can help you with this, achieve your goal with that. What advice would you give high school you?
I'm a Virgo, so it's like this. I always like searching for perfection, and sometimes that slows you down. So sometimes you just gotta just go do it.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta go do it.
So I can so relate.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be basically the story of my brother and I.
Yeah.
We had a project a couple of years ago at this point. I can't lost track of time with COVID, but my brother's a perfectionist, right? And for his job, it works out well because he's got to make sure that he works for Meta.
Yeah, dot your eyes.
But we had this project where he wanted to be so perfect, it never came out. And by the time we were close to coming out, a competitor came out and already took on market share. So,
what was it? You mind me?
It was just a silly concept. I remember having a Mophie case and thought it was like too bulky. So, it wasn't a unique product we found, but we basically found a product like that I thought would be great on Alibaba. But it was about the branding and packaging.
Wow.
So we were working on that. And so another company came out with the same product. They got it from one of these Chinese manufacturers. Yeah. And made a killing.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
But I mean, you learn from it. So
at the same time, then you also need a balance. So nowadays, and this is why I like my partnership with Darshan, or my role with Darshan, or his role with us, is I'm the one that wants to get things done. Let's put it out there. Let's go. Let's make it work.
Yeah.
And Darshan sometimes will be like, pause, reel it in. Let's take these first steps before we do that to make sure we're good.
I still feel like I'm still like Deshaun. Like,
what's that?
I feel like I'm still like Deshaun.
Yeah?
I'm trying to be more like You know, but
I think there's no.
It's like a balance, like
exactly.
You said. You need the balance because you don't want to just put out some shit.
And knowing how I am, I'll get this done right away. I know that it might skip steps. So whenever somebody like, I actually hear Darshan's voice in my head sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
Darshan,
wait, let's do this. I'm like, all right, right. You know, so it'll rule me in. Pause. We can't do it right away. We have to take X, Y, and Z steps done. And then we can put it out. But it doesn't mean it has to be perfect.
Yeah, I'm way better at it now.
There's a saying like perfection kills. I forgot what it's just saying, something like that. But yeah, that's a good. Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah, I think that's probably how I would leave with.
Okay. What's your favorite part of Outsiders?
I mean, the challenges, man. Like that whole trek through the mountain. Oh my God,
man,
that shit was amazing. In the rain.
That wasn't rain, dude. That was a
tsunami.
And it's like, for those of you who haven't been to Puerto Rico before, El Yunque is this beautiful rainforest.
But I loved it.
And it's like, it reminds you of like a rainforest in like Avatar.
Yeah.
Like it's massive,
like you're in the Amazon or something. Yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful place. I 100% will be back there in my life.
Yeah.
No questions.
Yeah, we got to do another Puerto Rico trip.
We will. I talked to Manolo about it. He's down. We got to figure something out. But
anyway, I can like come
and it started pouring on us.
Yeah.
It was such an experience. It reminded me
I was on a show or something.
It reminded me of that scene in like Forrest Gump when it wouldn't stop raining, when it was sideways coming from up. That's what it reminded me of. It was just like it was an adventure. Just
it was. I love that.
Yeah, so do I. It's nostalgic for me. Like going out as a kid, like running around the neighborhood trying to explore, and like that's how it feels. Like that exploration. It's written behind me. Yeah. Never stop exploring, and I'm a firm believer. Obviously, North Face does. They trademarked it. I don't know how they trademarked. Never stop exploring, but good job, guys.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like it keeps you youthful, keeps you young, it keeps things interesting.
No, it does. Most definitely, man.
Hey,
I feel like I could challenge anything. Like going through New York City is like whatever. I just went through the Yucatan, fucking mountains in a tsunami.
I mean, El Yunque.
Yunque. Sorry, my bad, guys. I gotta edit this.
Nope, I do not edit nothing.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I really enjoy that answer.
Nah, that was incredible, yo.
I agree. And then the combination of the food and culture still to me is amazing.
Like I said, I still think about that trip to this day.
Yeah. We'll do it again for sure. I think I know I already kind of asked you this and you answered, but what is a dream you get to achieve?
I mean, I get to work for myself for a living, man. That's like
so you've achieved that goal in a way.
Yeah, I feel like, you do what you love for a living, you never work a day in your life. I know that's cheesy, but it's so true.
It is, and no matter what, there's gonna be elements that are like annoying parts, but that's life. I agree.
I would take that any day over like doing something.
It's the freedom. The freedom is the most valuable portion, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the freedom, especially as a creative, is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Express yourself.
Yeah, your creative medium is film and photo, right?
Yeah.
And anything creative for audiovisual arts, right?
Right.
Mine's experiences. So I love having that as well. All right. Well, like I said, we just talked about never stop exploring. How do you incorporate exploration in your life now?
I mean, like, I feel like at a young age, my parents, I was well traveled. So I continued on that mission to keep like exploring, like through like cultures, through food, through people. I feel like that is a new classroom. I think that should be a classroom experience where kids should be able to go travel for a year because it's just life changing.
Where did you go? Where were your parents taking you?
To Paris, to Haiti, throughout the Caribbean, like Montreal. Like at a young age, I was well traveled already.
I agree.
I was going through Europe. I was going through Canada. I was going to the Caribbean.
You get to see different parts of the world and realize the world you're exposed to, your immediate environment.
I think that's why New York City is like so great because you have this influx of so many different cultures like all in one spot. So nothing doesn't seem like out of the blue to you. Yeah. If you go to like the Midwest or somewhere where it's more concentrated of the same people, then obviously the mindsets are different. So it changes. I agree. And I think you could take somebody from a place like the Midwest may not have as much culture as New York does, but you expose them and it changes their mindset. It changes their views. And I think it's especially important for people when you're talking about
racism, prejudice. Like people are afraid of what they don't know, but you expose them and show them that humans all have the same interests. I remember I was in China for a friend's cousin got married. He's like, "Do you want to go to China?" It's this rural part of China called Lijiang in the Yunnan province. And I was like, "Yeah, of course I want to go."
Yeah, let's go.
And I remember sitting one night, and it was after like eating dinner and then walking around this like little town where I'm looking around, and then the families are just like these. There's no Westerners there. This is like a place where it is like unique to that
you region. Look foreign once you're there.
Exactly, taking photos of us and so on.
Like, oh my God.
And they're doing the same thing I see people do everywhere. It's just families after they go eat, wanting to walk around, see some stuff, get some ice cream, be entertained. That's globally. If you have the privilege of doing that, you're not in a war-torn or endangered environment, then everybody on the planet, once you realize that, we're all the same, man.
Yeah, we are. There's we're all human beings at the end of the day. Yeah, we want to just like protect the people that we love, take care of the people we love,
and have some fun at ice cream. That's essentially it. If it's not ice cream, it's something that tastes good, right?
Yeah.
All right, this is one of my favorite questions.
All right, what is it?
And I know you didn't prepare at all for this because you don't know anything about this. But what is your most embarrassing moment?
Embarrassing moments? I don't have embarrassing moments.
Right. I mean, I have maybe. Did you have any embarrassing moments in Puerto Rico? I think you told us about some story. Maybe I don't know.
The only embarrassing moment when I called you guys outdoors.
Oh my God, this guy!
I was like, yo, I was having an incredible dinner, by the way. It was like the last dinner.
He's giving us toast,
a whole toast. And I don't like to speak in large parties and like be in front of attention, but sometimes I do. Yeah. Right? I felt compelled to do so. Yeah. So I'm giving a toast, and I'm like, and shout out to the outdoors. And
crickets.
Like,
I'm like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
The outdoors, this guy. It's the outsiders.
The outsiders.
So the rest of the trip, all we did was give them shit about. It's like every time we refer to the outsiders, like the outsiders. Or the outdoors for Glad.
Yeah. So that was. I'm gonna add that as my embarrassing. moment.
Well, he wasn't wrong. You guys did enjoy going out.
No, but he thought we were named the outsiders 2 days after, 3 days after the.
I'm
trying to help him out here.
No, we're not helping him out at all, man.
I was getting cooked the whole trip.
Yeah, but remember the restaurant we were at? That was good. Cocina del Fondo was amazing.
God. Some things I wouldn't even like try on my own. I was like, this sounds weird, but it was the best. One of the best dishes I ever had.
It was the first James Beard award-winning chef. I forgot her name. I apologize, but Manolo's friend, whose restaurant we went to. And I've never had some of those flavors we tasted were incredible. The pairings, amazing. Cocina del Fondo. Check it out if you're in Puerto Rico.
About it right now, I'm drooling.
And me too.
Yeah,
it'd be great if I had some food to eat after this.
Wow, you didn't bring us no food. You told me that you're gonna bring your favorite dish.
Oh, you're a smart ass. Huh? All right, so last segment of this is a series of 5 rapid fire questions.
Okay, shoot.
So, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, what is your favorite city other than New York City?
Brazil. Rio.
Oh, man, that's a good answer.
Rio.
We were there. Actually, you were there with us.
I saw you there.
Yeah, he was happy to be there the same time we
were
there.
I ended up staying a week after because I was like, I fell in love.
I stayed 4 days later. I wanted to stay longer. Matter of fact, I wanted to go back in February, but
for
no, for a friend. Well, it kind of crossed over Carnival, but a friend of mine. A friend's friend was getting married, and I kind of knew them, so they threw the invite to me last minute because they saw, I love the culture.
I felt so inspired.
Me too.
That place is like, I created the most personal work I did in the last 5 years when I was there. I was so inspired to work. Like I want to do my first solo show in Rio.
If you go back, man, let me know. I might join you if you're into
honestly,
it.
like Rio.
And I could be your summer translator. I speak a little Portuguese.
Oh, you're Portuguese?
Right. No, I'm not Portuguese. I speak a little.
I'm saying a little Portuguese.
Okay. I mean, similar to French, Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So if you could do any other profession, what would you do?
Damn. Another profession? All I know is this. I don't know. Like,
what'd you want to be growing up?
I wanted to be a firefighter, but I don't know if I want to do that now.
All right.
I'm just gonna say produce. Well, I kind of produce already. Damn, I know these are supposed to be rapid. Yeah. But I'm gonna say athlete.
Athlete? What sport?
I'm a runner.
Runner?
Yeah, I should have became a runner. Like, okay. I don't know. I would have taken on.
What's your vice?
Damn. That's a good question. I never thought of that. I love to. Damn.
I think your advice might be answering with rapid fire.
Yeah,
you're terrible.
I know, it's supposed to be fast. I like to eat.
All right, so food's your advice. Do you have a sweet tooth?
Advice. Yeah. No, I just like I like it. Never stop exploring. So I like trying different. I like trying different foods from different cultures. That's my advice.
For sure. Have you been to Japan before?
It's on my list. It's like literally.
I've been there.
Everybody's telling me I need to go to Japan.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah. The food is really good. I mean,
do a trip.
I did. We did one in Hokkaido. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do another one. We did one for ski specifically, but we'll do one specifically for exploration as well. Okay. What's your greatest fear?
Greatest fear, man. You ever saw Kill Bill?
Yeah.
When you get like stuck, she was stuck in that coffin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's your fear. Like claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the 1-inch punch.
Nah, but one of my greatest fears is like feeling like I didn't go after something because of fear. I mean, out of like, fear of regret, like of being scared to doing something, and then like
very valid fear.
Yeah. No, that's why I felt like, doing what we do is it's hard because, you want the comfortability of that 9 to 5, that protection, that safety net. So like jumping off that. And now if I didn't do that, I feel like that probably would have been like one of the things I fear the most.
Yeah. Yeah. And that could be incorporated in any aspect of life, right? Yeah. Not doing something based out of fear and regretting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, man. That's something I think we all. I consciously am aware of every day.
Right. What about you?
You're not interviewing me today.
Ah, damn. Trying to buy myself some time.
Listen, episode 100, and we're at. We've released 61 so far. By the time yours comes out, I think we'll be at 67 or 68.
Oh, nice. Okay.
By 100 will be my interview.
Okay. So.
Yeah. All right. Last question is something you came unprepared for. So, what's your favorite food, Glad?
I'm not biased when I say this. Haitian food. If you never try Haitian food, please try it. Like it's one of the top 5, in the world.
We had the privilege of having Jean here, who's also Haitian, who brought Haitian food. It was delicious, and there's a lot of similarities between all those cultures. Yeah. So it was really amazing. What's your favorite Haitian dish?
Legume. With griot, it's like
legume was like
I would consider
vegetables?
Like spinach is like vegetables, and then you could put crabs, you can make it with with carrots, and then you can put different types of meat in it. Eat it with rice.
That would be great if you brought it with you.
I thought you said you was bringing the food.
No, you don't read the highlighted portion. I sent you 3 times.
Legume. I told John to tell you.
I'm sure.
Next time on the next episode.
I know you don't usually do this. You don't get in front of the camera.
No, I don't.
This is a unique opportunity, and I want you to know I recognize that. So I want to say thank you.
Of course, man.
And I look forward to if we're working together again or even travel, exploration.
Yeah.
Never stop exploring, Glad.
Never stop exploring.
Stay tuned for the next episode.
All right. Peace. Thank you, guys.